Hello. Good evening. Good afternoon. こんばんは、こんにちは。いらっしゃい。はい。ということで、また。Have you completed the high sec? No, not even close. I always put two instead of one. I just so I don't spoil myself while doing flashcards, and then I open one. Like, I don't even think I'll end up using two. Oh yeah, hello, how's it going? Um, right, because if I open one, I'll spoil myself from the flashcards of yesterday, right? They'll glance by accident and be like, shit. There's no trying to recollect anything. It's just like, oh, I saw it. Feels almost like cheating to me. But yeah, no. High sec, I'm going at a really slow pace. I go at like lately at 2 kanji per day. I used to go up like five, but lately not so much. Yeah, yeah, yeah. I remember. I mean, for me, when I'm taking such a slow, steady approach, it is helpful. Yeah, like not knowing actually how to read and not knowing the actual meaning when it's combined with other words, it's kind of not ideal. But for me, it's really helpful. Like when it teaches me like new radicals. I think that's the most important. When it's teaching me new words, I can associate to new radicals. So that later on, if I see that radical combined with other things I already know out in the wild without the book, I can already make a story of myself, right? So I really like that. In fact, I could just go through the radicals and not give a fuck. but um, but yeah, like lately I've been noticing I go through kanji or new words that I write on my memos and stuff, right? And I realized, wait, I know this kanji from Heisig, and like the meaning is like really similar, considering the context is being used for. Right, like shogun, right? It teaches me leader, and then and I already know army because, well, taught me that. So like, oh, well that makes sense, right? Things like those, I guess. But yeah, I mean, but I do feel like it's low. It doesn't help with reading, and it can be a pain in the ass. That's why I have both methods of like Heisei Kanji and internet pickups. Internet pickups is like, fuck Heisei, dude. It's way too slow. I cannot read shit. I need to do something about that. So that's where internet pickups comes in. But it is true. I've noticed that if I'm trying to learn a new kanji, if I've seen it before in Heisig and I know what in my mind I finally separated each radical into different things, it becomes so much easier to remember and write it. I feel like, right? But yeah, no, it is very slow and it doesn't help to read. But given my slow, methodical approach, I think it's a good thing to use. It also is worth mentioning. I did waste like many months of doing nothing but Isaac. And by many months, I mean like one or two. I did, that pays five per day. I think at one point I was doing 10 per day. In which, sure, I did advance there, but my level of Japanese right now it's subpar because I did fail to look into grammar and listen more and speak more and those kind of things. A little mishap, you could say. Anyway, はい。始まりましょう。始めましょう。始めましょう。二人。8箇所。You're almost done with Tycoon's grammar guide? Nice. Towards the end, it gets kind of weird, doesn't it? I remember he posted that random article from Wikipedia regarding some minerals and like the combustion of fireworks or something, and it was impossible to read. Holy. Just to try to teach you like that kind of really formal language that is usually like articles and kind of thing. Like 60 pages left. I don't know how many that is, but sounds like not much left. Actually, I could open up. I'm pretty sure I still have Taikin's grammar guide. There it is. Oh, it's 350? Yeah, nice. Yeah, no, Chapter 6 is something. It exists. It is helpful. There are real things that are used a lot actually in actual Japanese, like Beki and Beku. Um, and what other things? Atsutsu gets used more than you'd think. Uh, yeah, the rest are a bit not so much, but they do exist. Anyway, yes. Good luck. 頑張ってください. I'm a big fan of that guy, even if at the end it gets kind of weird. Uh, can you not go back? Thank you. 19日。はい、終わりました。はい、ということで、今日は2022年3月27日。今は午後11時25分。他の言い方は、今は23時25分。はい。と、今日は日本語の勉強105日目。はい。ということで、今日の漢字の復習を始めましょう。Starting with Heisek. 何なんだっけ。The following. Draw it. Oh, isn't this Yome? This. See, this is one of those examples of words I knew by Heisek right before, just associated to a word I already knew quite well because I kept hearing it. But it just wasn't associated. The moment I realized, I was like, oh. And it clicks immediately, right, for me. Which is not very practical if you want to try to learn this, but like only 80% of the context stuck with you. So that also happened to me. I've also considered reading it. It depends on what you are forgetting. Oh, hello, Alex. How's it going? Welcome. I'm doing quite okay. Hope you're doing well. Yeah, there are points that I do forget, and there are points I remember the first couple of weeks after I finished the book. I keep going back to my notes, right? Because whenever I studied, I'd read an entire little, not the chapter, but like the article, right? Not the article. What's the word I use? A section, right? A small section in this case, noun-related particles with what is to, ya or to ka, and no, right? And then I'd write I'd read it, reread it, reread it, like 2-3 times, and then I'd make these notes. And then these notes is what I refer back to. But yeah, it does. It's a lot of things to take in because Taikin really is teaching you all of the grammar you need to know. Yes, yes, that's a big issue. I still struggle quite a bit with passive. The other thing, what was it? Um, Passive and like let you do something, right? Stuff like those. But yeah, those because are not used commonly, or I don't get to say them very much. You usually don't write anything. Yeah. So I guess I'm having a bit less trouble than you because I do kind of this approach, right? That is, well, this is what helps me remember. And when I have to review something, I find it easier to go through these. But yeah, if you don't use them quite a lot, it's understandable. What I'd say, however, let me open up. Chapter 4, I don't think you should be forgetting anything from chapter 4. Because I'm pretty sure, from what I remember, chapter 4. I mean, chapter 3 is the obvious. That doesn't matter much. It's like basic, basic. It's what I think what matters for the most part. From what I'm seeing, rereading real quick, um, this is all things that get used constantly, and you shouldn't forget. Except maybe Chodai, because I barely hear that. I forget numbers because numbers are a pain in the ass, and there are way too many counters. But yeah, chapter 4 is the things that you should know. If you remember most, if not everything from chapter 4, you should be okay. In my, from what I've seen, do consider that I finished Taekim's guide by day 33. So do take that with a grain of salt because it's been only 2 months. But from 5 onwards, causative and passive are hard. Honorific and humble are something that you hear and you assimilate as they exist, but you don't say. So it's kind of hard. Shimao is probably important. Toko tokoro or mono is so overused that it's impossible not to. かもしれないでしょうだろう constantly. だけしかばかりすぎるほど yeah, these are quite important. そうだそうみたいらしいっぽい are also very used. Niyotte actually doesn't get used nearly as much. Ho and Yori, yes, for comparisons. Nikui gatai tsura, yes. Oh, these negative forms are really weird, but they're common. Wake to suru, yeah, important bakari. Totan I've never heard. Nagara, yes. Yeah, so near the end of chapter 5, things don't matter as much. My point is, yeah, you should maybe be a little bit concerned. Chapter 6, I completely understand if you forget. But do try to review from time to time the things you struggle with in chapters 4 and 5. Because from what I'm trying to recollect, right, the absurd amount of Terrace House I've been watching lately, and what they use, right, and yes, from what I can from my understanding, chapter 4 and 5, in fact, like I don't think you should even need chapter 6. In fact, I honestly, from personal recommendation, from what I've seen so far, I honestly tell you to study 6.2 on uh, I guess 6.6 and just go back. Because everything else I've not heard or seen or anything. It just completely disappeared. Chapter 6, the advanced topics, is not too important. So if you're like reaching this point, right? Because I do would recommend 4 and 5. The more accept concept like Nisuru, don't know how about it. You think immersion will do the trick and eventually get it. You can do what you can do in that case is yeah. I also read it all for completeness, but chapter 6 starts getting weird. I mean, if at some point you're gonna keep advancing on your Japanese, I think this is the guide that you just keep going back to, right? Because once we say 3 years from now on, we're at a much higher level, right? Say high intermediate to low advanced. At that point, maybe we do want to read some more advanced stuff, and we do need like the advanced expressions on chapter 6. But yeah, I also remember the one of the person that people that recommended this book to me, not personally, it was through a YouTube video. I think it was abroad in Japan, right? He says that even if he's been living in Japan for I don't know how many years when he filmed that book, he said he kept going back to it. So I don't think it's a bad thing or something to worry too much about or be super concerned about, given our level. But I like we're gonna keep going back to it from time to time because sometimes one would forget. Okay, what's this conjugation with this stem, with a, e, or what was it? I forget. Kind of thing, right? Because it is in fact a lot of things to take in. So yeah, don't worry too much about it, but do keep in mind that 4 and 5 get used quite a bit, and those should probably be sticking. So I do worry some about those, but not. I mean, it's still early, right? It's not like it's one of those things that the more you hear it, the more you assimilate it. Regarding abstract concepts, what I found used to help, nowadays not so, is that you can do like a weird literal translation in your head. Um, so, for example, kore ni suru, right? And saying, let's go with this. Um, you can think, let's do this kind of thing. And then in your head, rationalize it. Okay, no, it's just like, let's go with this kind of thing. Or just sometimes what I do is associate specific expressions to that. Right? For example, you know the conditional nara? Whenever I hear nara, I think on my head, okay, if in the case of, or if it's something or someone specifically, but only because if it is, then that happens, right? I do that kind of mechanical thing in my head. But yeah, the idea from this book, at least this grammar book, an immersion, is to not translate but to think in Japanese. Right? But even if I do disagree with the idea of being complacent with it and oh, we'll just come natural with immersion. If there's a concept or a specific phrase or a grammar point that you realize are struggling with it quite a bit, I do. I would recommend going through that chapter again. I remember the explanatory note, for example. I know I've had to go through that chapter like 10 times. Maybe look at a YouTube video or two. Try to gather more information. So even if it doesn't quite click just yet, you have a lot more things to think about. So whenever you hear it, it will be easier to click. So it's not like something on like immersion will just fix it. Like if there's actually something you're struggling with, I do look into it a little bit, right? That's what I think at least. Again, I'm also a learner. I've not been learning for that long or anything. So do take everything I'm saying with a grain of salt. But yeah. Anyway, sorry, we were just discussing a little bit about grammar that it's hard to stick on your head because I've had that problem as well and stuff. Although he's not the son かな。いらっしゃい、初見さん。Welcome, welcome. So yeah, good luck. 頑張ってください。Yeah, お互い each other mutually. Yeah. Also, what helped me? Oh, it's already okay. I just wanted to say a real quick thing. What sometimes when I got stuck, I would ask a friend that already knows Japanese. So if you could find someone like that, not me, because I'm a complete beginner. I know jack shit. Or someone in the intern or something. Do you try to ask someone that knows more Japanese that had to learn it? Asking natives is no point because I wouldn't be able to explain to you stuff in Spanish because I'm just native, right? It just comes naturally. Anyway, yeah, that. Have a good night. おやすみなさい。またね。Abbreviation. And then today, yeah, nice. Alright, see ya. なんだっけ。窓。And, alright. No, I know it's proposed, but that's only because it came up yesterday. Anyway. What was it? Oh! いたす。日本語の勉強って難しいね。はい、すごく難しいね。ですよね。いろいろ勉強しないといけないね。まあでも漢字を書けることあんまり必要がないんですけど、私が好きです。と、なんか、書き方を知ったら、漢字を、ちょっとだけ覚え覚えやすくなります。ね。はい。そういうこと。Abandoned, right. Okay. From Richard. Oh yeah, from the method. ほう。寂しい。寂しい。蝶。だったっけ Yeah, from butterfly. Blind. Oh, frost. Quite quasi. No, not frost. Yeah, quasi. I hate this. You know, I'm not gonna bother. Literally, お互い。授業の10ですよね。impart. Yeah. Rival. それだっけ なんか、調べたいことがあります。はい、しました。あ、それ。to do、いたす。繁忙出しましたね。はい、それ、それだけ。リチャード。ほう。remorse。なんだっけ。これね。なんか意味ね、エゴでちょっと似てます。なんか悔しいの。というか、これ、まあこれ知りませんけどね。あー、窓、窓、窓、窓。あー、過去の子ね。gone past. Arrival, abandon. お高い。abandon。はい。はい、次。約束。褒める。compliment、ね。未完成。たくさん。早速。immediately, right now, fast, at once, immediately. 生き延びる。生き延びる。生き延びる。ビル。生き延びる。Yeah, to live long. Stuff. あー、習うか学ぶか、なんだっけ、習得か、なんだっけ。英語の learning いっぱい、なんか、日本語で言えます。There's like 3 or 4 different words that come to mind, and I don't know which one it is. I think is 習得、習得、習得。I think it is, but I may be mistaken. I was. Let's go. 収託なんだっけ収託なんだっけあ、習得。習得じゃなくて、習得。習得。平和ね。いやー。あ、触る。To touch. 応援。Not quite support, but encourage? Cheer for. That's what I was looking for. Koro. Koro. Point in time, right? Or well, not a point in time. Point in time is actually jitan, but it'd be a time frame usually in the past, right? Right. How do I even explain that? Oh, maybe. はい。まあ、これ、ただ、さっき直しましたから、もう一度見ました。変化。緊張。用意。用意。用意。用意。約束。Yo, how's it going? Welcome, welcome. Just doing my daily studying, as always. Hope you're doing as good as well. Welcome, welcome. Ah, Dakshin, Dakshin, single. With, yeah, I kind of forgot that that word existed, but then I saw it. It's like, oh yeah. Densha, train. Yeah. Yep, I sure do. はい。アニメを見たりします。はい。難しいね。安全。With or without subs, both. I usually there usually I watch anime with friends. I do watch them by myself just for pure entertainment, of course. Um, but so when I'm watching with friends and stuff, I usually watch them with subs. When I'm watching by myself, it depends. If I just want to disconnect and use this as a hobby, I'll still put on the subs, which is still not bad practice. Because while hearing subs, sometimes I'll hear a word and look it up real quick, see if it really actually correlates to the subs, and add it to like new words I should know, kind of thing. Um, but yeah, I'm just purely more disconnecting a little bit. So lately, I've been doing that a bit more for the past week or two. But when I'm trying to do more immersion on focus, yeah, I'll put subtitles of. The problem is the idea of immersion and some ways of doing it is like watch the same thing multiple times. The problem is by the third time or fourth time, I already know everything that happens, so my brain tends to disconnect anyway. So I right now I'm at the point where I should look into uh, watching some other shows without subtitles, kind of thing. Yeah, uh, again, so both, but lately I've been using subtitles more than I'd like to admit. Yeah, so that's called localization. It's not quite a translation, but they're trying to portray the same kind of meaning, or sometimes they don't give a fuck and they're just poorly subtitling it. Um, anyway, Ansan, let me just write this real quick. Any anime you recommend that would be good? Not Hyoka. Do not start with that. That's bad. That's a no go. I did that bad. That bad. If I had to guess, it's probably best to start with some sort of chill, simple slice of life kind of thing. Right? Um, yeah. So I'm not actually done much, but I watched all of Lucky Star, right? And I decided to watch the first episode without subs, and they do talk a lot. And it's about very mundane, nonsensical things. Like I remember they were just talking about like a chocolate cone. Do you eat it from the bottom or from the top? Okay, but which? How do you decide it's what's bottom and what's top and kind of thing, right? Very nonsensical, very everyday kind of thing. So maybe that's good. I don't know. I only ever watched the first episode, and the main character is an otaku, so maybe she will use slang that it's hard to get. I don't know. I was considering that. Although what I have to say, do watch something that you like if you intend to rewatch it for that. If you're just trying to watch it to see how much you can get, I guess anything will do. And that isn't, too hard. Someone in my chat sometime recommended to me Osama ranking, right? Because it's fairly recent, and I think it's aimed towards kids and stuff. So that could be good, right? So those kind of yeah, actually, whoops, sorry. And I think it was one of the natives. So I'm not sure how a native in chat. Ranking of Kings, yeah. The guy that's a little kid gets made into a king or something, but and he gets like a little shadow friend. Sound like a hard one to you? Well, apparently it's aimed towards kids and it's okay. So that's what I've heard. Usually in Japanese I just say rashi, because I've been. um, I personally, lately, personally, okay, I've been watching a lot of. It's not anime. But it's a show on Netflix called Terrace House. I can't I keep bringing it up, but it's just I've been watching it, where it's just people living together, and they do talk about normal things, as in what they're studying, what they're working, what they want to do, and love relationships, and like it's very normal everyday stuff. But when it cuts to the people commentating, it can get quite hard, and there's some vocabulary that it's just like obviously more normal. Um, I prefer no subs at all. If I put JP subs, I feel I notice myself trying being reading more than listening. It's it's probably a good exercise to do as a second or third time watching, but I would never start with JP subs if it's my first time. Um, because that's one of my fears. Of just being really good at reading but not being able to listen properly, right? That's why I used to do on stream this kind of listening practice with anime and trying to make a script of what they're saying, right? Daihon. But lately I've not had that much time, unfortunately. But yeah, so that kind of thing to really understand what they're saying, see if I can, because some things are really hard to get. But the more you listen to them, right? For example, which is just club room, right? Um, I had the hardest time understanding this um, the first time because the character that said it spoke really fast, and the she and Sue are like the boys. Impossible. I couldn't hear it at all. So eventually, I kind of got used to it. I guess in that case, if you read it first, then you start associating it a bit faster. But what happens when you listen to a yeah exactly a word that you've never heard before, right? That started to scare me a little bit, or I'm pretty sure some YouTuber talking about that kind of thing scared me about that. So yeah, I try to avoid them for now. I'll probably eventually use them more, and when I try to transition more into trying to read more. Right now, my focus is a bit more on listening and speaking. I say that, but I don't speak other than on stream, and my listening really has been with subs a lot. So do take that with a grain of salt. Just for fun, what's my favorite anime? Good question. It depends on the genre. I cannot choose a favorite anime. I mean, if I had to choose some like the best anime experiences I've had, as in like it been really impactful, it'd be the films Kimi no Nawa, Your Name, and Koe no Katachi, The Shape of Boys. Fantastic, fantastic. It's absolute masterpieces, really. I was trying to find another word to say it because it feels, but they're so good. But other, I mean, I have on my anime list some of like the ones. The problem is whenever I mark one as favorites, they are because they probably touch me emotionally, and they had some sort of impact. Toradora, Hyoka, Sangatsu no Lion, Fruits Basket to Higehiro. 見事. Your name was pretty confusing, was it? I found it really easy to follow, but I don't know. Yeah, and I've not watched Clannad yet, but my friends uh, are trying to kill me emotionally with Clannad one day. We'll do it one day. But the thing is, I say that I marked this as my favorites because at that point I was really moved and it really made me think or reconsider it. So like I immediately marked as favorites, but there are some really really fun things. Um, like I'm a big fan of shonen, like Boku no Hero Academia, right? My Hero Academia is really fun. Big fan. Anything mecha, I'll actually just dig up. Gurren Lagann actually should be here. Why is it not here on one of my favorites? I even marked it as a 10. In fact, I could actually just sort by a score, and you can see what I tend to like, I suppose. See, Redline is also an amazing movie. Have I watched Evangelion? No, I've not watched Evangelion actually. Kiseiju. Kiseiju. Parasite, good stuff. One Punch Man, amazing. Mob Psycho, fantastic. Amamato Inazuma is super wholesome. Of course, more Mob Psycho. Anohana, it's a given. Hunter x Hunter was fantastic. More amazing films. Doctor Stone, big fan. Kimetsu no Yaiba, Jujutsu Kaisen, My Hero Academia, all of those shonen, fantastic. How many? No, all of these I mostly watched over the years, with subs, obviously. Without subs, I've not watched that many. Like, I've not watched a single show from the beginning to end just without any subs. No, I'm not. I do want to watch it. But yeah, see, it's like 300 shows. There's no that's been my process of the over the past 7 years. No, the ones I watch without it's really Hyoka, and then I pick random episodes. I watched random episode of Hiro without subs, Toradora without subs, Lucky Star without subs, like one episode. just to test waters and mess around with it. I've never really watched an entire show from beginning to end. Um, I should. I should. I've been avoiding it a little bit actually. But yeah, I cannot give you a rating of like hardest or difficult. Like given the context and the age it's in for, I could probably tell you what's easy and what not. Digimon Adventure, for example, is pretty simple. Um, when I was watching this with a friend, I kept getting new words because they were like really simple, really easy, but well, for the most part, right, kind of thing. When I watch without subs, I either find my sources or I just use Netflix. I'm pretty sure Crunchyroll allows you to to remove subtitles as well. So, for example, you wouldn't watch something like 86 without subs because it's more mecha kind of political. Um, Hola, ¿qué tal? Bienvenido, bienvenida. Aquí estamos hablando un poco. Estaba aprendiendo aquí japonés, pero la charla se puso un poco más de anime japonés. But yeah, if you look for kid-oriented stuff, you should be okay, right? Just for example, Bakuman, right? Bakuman is an anime about manga, and you learn quite a bit about nemu and names and other things, right? 日本語、はい、日本語をちょっと話せます。ね。だから勉強してます、毎日。But like, we have to find the balance, すごい。そうですか。あんまりすごくないと思います。でも、頑張っています。So for example, you have to find the balance between something like Banania, where it's just like for kids and for like thing, and something like for Bakuman is probably okay to watch, but it's probably a bit too hard if you weren't watching it full without subs, right? So I have to find the balance there, I guess. To not watch Boba. I don't know. It's hard. It's really really hard for me to tell. Usually, because I'm the kind of guy that you will just watch what I like, and if I like it, then I'm really engaged in it, and then I'll probably go back and check it again, right? はい、なんか、漢字を勉強してましたけど、なんとなく、アニメの話になってしまいました。なんか、字幕なしアニメを見ることありますかとか、聞かわれたね。なんか、そういうことね。Speak well, いや、まだまだ、全然。どうもありがとう。ね、そういうこと。私はまだ字幕、で、なんかアニメやドラマや見てますけど、そろそろ使わないとの方がいいと思いますね。Yes, yes, for sure. 君は可愛い。誰？褒める。yeah, compliment. はい。難しい。元気そう私いやいや。今はね、真夜中なんですけど。真夜中というか、はい。難しい。はい。difficult, yeah, sure is. 鬼が 鬼鬼は鬼がね。Timon, I mean, just 鬼。聞いてもいいですか？英語を勉強してますか？てか、日本人ですか？最終、最終ですよね。はい。早速。But yeah, if you're trying to watch something without subtitles, probably better to start with younger audiences. Um, if you want to gravitate a bit more towards shonen kind of thing, right? A bit more adult-like. Well, it's not like adult-like. Vocabulary will get harder, but if it's something that you really like, be it like a drama you're really invested in, a really good slice of life, or something like that, it's probably okay. It just be aware you're probably gonna be using the dictionary way more. But if you're really into it and you're really invested and you like it, you'll probably learn more words, right? So it kind of depends. Also, I keep recommending Slice of Life because it probably applies to normal everyday things more than, say, if you pick an isekai in which you are gonna be talking about, I don't know, right? Your English is good, but Japanese is sloppy. For anime, else need to watch things you enjoy and want to understand. Yes. That's why, even though it was an awful decision, I decided to start with Hyoka because I really like it. Hajime no Ippo. Oh, that sounds fun. I'm a big fan of sports anime. It kind of ruins. Yes, it does. It does. It does get frustrating when I'm watching a show without subtitles and I'm constantly looking things up. I'm like, it's slow. But that's why when I'm trying to be more study like, I'll make sure I'm rewatching something, right? Okay. Yeah, for a moment there with a name like Rekatsu, I wasn't sure if like I was someone from Japan or not. Because I actually, surprisingly enough, a native show up on this stream on chat here and there. Lately, not so much because I've been streaming way more at night, which is their morning, if not working and stuff. But yeah. I mean, I personally would recommend staying the fuck away from Kansai dialect if how if you're interested in learning proper pitch accent and things, right? The word speaking could like get to you a little bit, and if you're in the at some point end up in Tokyo or something, I don't know. It could be a little bit harder and weirder. It's for us or for me at least, and I'm a beginner. I avoid it because there's a lot of things I won't quite understand if it's Kansai or normal Japanese or if it's different or not or from so right, that's personally I'd say like no. But um I mean if you think it's a good idea, I don't see why not, right? This is my personal opinion. So again, I'm what's Kansai event? Kansai dialect, yeah. But yeah, personally, I mean, is Yan Kansai Ben? No, Kansai Ben would be a bit more hen, right? Uh, I think I don't know. It's hard to say. I don't know that much about it. And actually, there's a video. Hold up. This guy, Takoaki Japanese. He actually makes videos about Kansai dialect. I'll put it on chat real quick. They found it and they did like this a cool video that I watched where they um, compare standard versus Kansai. Right now, you probably won't hear much because of the music, but yeah. So do check that if you're a bit more interested in Kansai event. Again, personally, I would not recommend it, but if there's some benefit though to it, some merit to it, yeah. I didn't enjoy Tokyo. Why is that? If you don't mind me asking. Sasuke, Sasuke, Hayato. Um, なんだっけ? No, sorry. But yeah, you stick with standard Japanese for understandable. Um, I mean, it's really interesting. It's kind of really nice to the ear, but then again, I've always been from the south, more like loosely speaking language, but then usually in Spanish. After I go, yeah, dude, I'm like as a weeb that stays in rooms and plays video games and watches anime and stuff. Even I'm starting to get really fucking tired of COVID. I'm so sorry to read that. I I hate that. I mean, I I don't have any right to say anything, but it's gut wrenching. I hate hearing things like those. I hate it. I When I was in Chile, I remember a friend that was a girl, because I don't want to say girlfriend because I had like really bad experiences as well. Like on a country that is a bit more what's the word, misogyny, uh was it, I keep forgetting this word, right? And I yeah, whatever, misogynistic, yeah. And I hate it. Like I don't understand how people can. It's just really sad, but I'm a guy. I what can I say? What can I? There's nothing. It's just but yeah, no, understandable, completely understandable. To be fair, Japan's countryside, with much less populated people, it's much more beautiful. I'll give you that. Um, it's just when it comes to working in somewhere, especially as a foreigner, you know, casa, casa, umbrella. This one is really fun to draw, by the way. Cute. It's the other way around. You write your move first, and then you do the breath. But yeah. Oh yeah, no. Japan has a lot of bad sides. It has a lot of awful sides. Well, not. I don't want to say awful, but as in every country has good and bad. It really does, right? There's a lot about their culture that is very specific to them, and it's not always a good thing. Osaka, and their Japanese really know their English, do they? I mean, I know that Tokyo and Osaka are the main um, cities in Japan, so that's where most people will work, and if you're a foreigner, you're probably gonna end there. Also, hold up. There's just quickest of dabs. So yeah, that's my understanding. Although I do know of like some YouTuber that lives in the countryside of Japan. It's gorgeous. Matsuri. なんだっけ、余計 as in uncalled for. I like the uncalled for. たくさん。歴史。緊張. Jeez, this one's really hard. Yeah, sort of. よい。沖縄、another Saka. Isn't that? I'm pretty sure Okinawa is very touristic. I think it was. I think I'm thinking of Okinawa. Yeah. Oh no, sounds cool. 変化 change. Yeah. 難しい。Um. Oh, I finished. Cool. Okay, next up is without kanji, just pitch checks and then pronunciation. Because if I only study through kanji, I'm never gonna end. I'm never gonna be able to understand shit, actual spoken stuff. So anyway, 作業, 作業. At work basically. One has to do. Seems like a good place to visit. Yeah, actually, like that's actually something I do quite a bit myself. Well, quite a bit. Yeah, like, is I looked up on Twitch. I look up Japanese streams, right? And usually a lot of people have EN, JP, on their right title. Thank you. My head. And sometimes they have like this little auto translating machine that is usually not very good. But they usually, if you try to approach them with English or something like that, they will try their best to communicate, and it's kind of really wholesome. I like it. Yeah, it's a good experience as well. So those kind of things are the kind of streams I like, right? Because I always feel more at ease. Because if I ever get really stuck with my Japanese, I don't know how to communicate or say something to that streamer. English. Yo, talked about Uma Musume. Nice. Also, thanks for a follow. Follow ありがとうございます。よろしくお願いします。Thank you, thank you. ちなみに、スペイン語を話せますか？最初のメッセージは、スペイン語でしたね。¿Sabes hablar? ¿Hay alguien que sepa hablar español aquí? Uh, it's pretty funny but cool. Yeah, yeah, no, like I really appreciate it. Sometimes I wonder if that's how Japanese people see me. Or like if they speak in Japanese, I'll speak with my broken, bad, awful Japanese. I'm like, oh, that sounds weird, but he's trying. How nice, kind of thing, right? 休日。Jack. Wicked, really bad, evil. See, this is the kind of words I learned from an isekai. Listen, I didn't want to point that out, okay? No, actually, I found people with like really, really good English. Um, so that it depends on the person. Like, I remember clicking on a stream of a random VTuber. Well, it's not random, it's a VTuber, right? Powaru. And they put like Japanese and baby English and something Spanish because they have a submachine that would do from Japanese to English and Spanish. But then it turns out like their English was amazing, and their Spanish is like actually pretty decent because and they're studying every day. Like whoa, what? You feel cool knowing English, Spanish, and crappy French and Japanese. Nice, nice, good stuff. Yeah, I'm good with my Spanish, English, and Japanese. I don't think I need a fourth language. I'm already struggling enough with the three I know, because in my head it's awful. It's such a mess. I'll try to say something in Spanish, but only English will come out. I'll try to say something in English, but then only Spanish will come out. I'll try to say things in Japanese, and then nothing comes out. So, that's my experience. さえは、さえが、さえ、right? You left French in high school? Yeah, understandable. I actually took 2 years of Japanese in Japanese no Chinese in middle school, and all I remember is ni hao and xie xie. You only know Filipino and English. 日本語はまだまだね。まあ、日本語はすごく難しいですよね。You took a year of Chinese in middle school? Let's go. Yeah, I cannot read that. But yeah, cool. See, sometimes people tell me, "Oh, three languages, that's amazing." I'm like, I'm barely keeping it together. Okay, I don't think it's that big a feat. Big a feat. But numbers are exactly the same. No, 1、2、3、4、5理由でしたっけ in Chinese? I remember. I forget. I remember. I don't remember. Okay, I forget. Um, and say anyway, this is like calm, peaceful, quiet, right? Yes, and she will leave. Yeah, that. Thank you. It's been forever. It's been forever. Now it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. You forgot the tones. I never even began with tones. No, so perfect in Japanese is not beyond comprehension. It's not. It's just, and it's not. Okay, it is really fucking hard, but it is very hard because it takes a lot of time and dedication. So it's something that it depends on the definition of perfect Japanese. But if you want to be able to pick up a newspaper that day and being able to read it, or like I don't know, you take a book on a bookstore, or you go to a manga thing, or you pick up, and you want to be able to read it without problems, you're probably gonna have to practice and learn a new kanji every day for like the rest of your life. You're probably gonna have to review your pitch accent and be like immersed in really native like settings and be constantly applying that. So it's not impossible. It's just it's gonna take a while, you know. Is mine, yeah. Yeah, yeah. I've tried joining a couple of those discords, but my introvert shy self is a complete failure, and I can't. And usually when I see those, there are just mostly a lot of people talking in English. I've joined like two or three, right? And there's no like native, like, or maybe they are, but just like time zones and stuff. It's really hard. It's like, uh, uh, right? But I'm way too scared to join a server with native Japanese just playing video games. I'm minding their own business. Uh, Hyojo, Hyojo, Hyojo. Ah, it's actually Nakataka. Understandable. Shoujo. Shimping. I actually saw this one used recently with like a guitar that looked brand new, even though it was like second hand. I was like, oh no, no, it's not. So it's not a brand new as in just released, completely new release, but as in like something you brought and it's like it looking brand new and clean and stuff. You feel more at place with fellow student, yeah. Like right now, right? Us three. You know, a Japanese friend, yeah, yeah. Uh, there's a big hurdle. It's just not the problem with uh, Japanese friendships and stuff is not only the language barrier. There's a really big cultural barrier that is there in ways of thinking. I actually had a very big conflict. I had a Japanese friend. Let's leave it at that. I don't want to get into the story. A lot of things happened, but there's a lot of things that could be misunderstood and things that they. I don't want to say take the wrong way, but it's a different kind of approach. Maybe it's because it was a girl, right? And that's even more dynamic and more cultural things, and it's way fucking harder. But it's you gotta be careful. Um, you gotta understand a lot of the cultural things. That's why lately I've been gravitating more towards something like Terrace House, right? Where it's more like grounded in because it's a reality TV show in like what they think and what they do every day and those kind of conflicts, right? I'm quite drawn to that because I find it really curious. Not so much anime, although I still love anime. If you guys want to make Japanese friends, there are some applications for language exchange that I tried to use before in the past, but I'm a failure as a communicating human being because I'm way too introvert and shy. Even though I'm doing stream, don't worry about it. But there are like some other things there that's and maybe through language exchange you could actually make friends. The only one I remember right now is like hi talk, hello talk. There you go, hello talk, and the other one was what? I don't remember. Hello talk, and there was another one I don't remember. If I were to check my old emails, I could find it. But that also got recommended to me. So maybe you guys could try that. Maybe you have a bit more luck than me and are a bit more assertive in trying to start conversations. Tandem. What's that? It has to be tandem. Yes, tandem. So tandem and hello talk. Language exchange apps. If you just log in, do your thing, and say, I speak English or whatever language you want to, your native, and you may want to teach. Usually, language is the one where you probably had more success of teaching to Japanese because it's the things they want to see. Um, but like in my case, Spanish is something they also quite are interested in learning. It seems. So yeah, Keigo is impossible. Sometimes I'm pretty sure I'm overusing Keigo. Um, so for example, kita koto arimashita, arimasu right? As in, it is. I'm pretty sure I say something like kikimashita koto arimashita. You'll buy it, downloading, yeah. Mhm. So maybe you guys have more luck. I'll probably eventually try it, do using again. I'm trying to be a bit more assertive, but talking to people is hard. And I say that while streaming, talking with people for like the past hour. I can explain. もしわけございませんでした。You should probably not use that because you're gonna come out as like really formal. 申し訳ありません。申し訳ないです. Those things I actually heard. Uh, if you are using gozaimasu, that's way too formal, and they're not gonna be able to see you as a friend because you're speaking. If you use keigo too much, it's gonna be harder for them to get comfortable with you because it's really formal, right? There's the trick. That's really hard. Like when do you switch to using like actual normal speech, right? That kind of thing is also cultural and hard to grasp. But yeah. 休日、判断、judgment、印象、割と、comparatively, relatively、気楽、there's also 気軽 I believe, which is from 気 and 軽い、軽い right? With it's also kind of carefree and with not caring too much. Um, I it's something to notice, I guess. Fumu, to step, to support society. Um, if you say "owen suru," I feel like it's rather than support, it's more cheering someone on, and it's that kind of support, like when I don't know an influencer talks about like support from their viewers or whatever. It's more like ON, right? Because it's more like cheering and breathing for it. Society is more to actually support someone, right? As in help them and be like they're more friend-like, I believe. So, yeah. 逆転、逆転. This would be a comeback or a turnaround, right? Sudden change, yeah. 張り切る That's very enthusiastic here. 連続 結末来てないんですけど邪道 unorthodox improper way of doing things. See, this kind of language I learned from Bakuman, right? So I wouldn't actually, like, let's be honest, not even in English, I used unorthodox on a daily basis. I barely use but it's a word that I know, right? 危険、danger, hazard. あげる、休日、well, day off, holiday, yeah. でたらめ、nonsense. A friend called it bullshit, but yeah, pretty much. Hogwash. Hogwash, go on. 流行る、ね。はい。混む、oh, be packed, crowded. 表情、oh, facial expression. I gotta take a picture for your face for tandem, already uncomfortable. Yeah, I've seen people that don't actually do that, and they just put some other picture, or something, if I remember correctly. But yeah, you're probably better off using it, just in case at some point you end up on a voice call or something. Their point is like they want people to be like actually themselves, not catfishing, and being there just seriously trying to study and do language exchange, right? I guess it's a bit harsh. Hello Talk doesn't have that many restrictions, but It's just an anime pic. Yeah. I remember there being like a verification process, but also do not think of those applications as dating apps or anything. Don't. That's just kind of weird. Um, they're just there to learn and speak, regardless of gender. That doesn't matter. So yeah. Intai have to wait up to 7 days. It actually took like 3 hours for me. I remember creating it a night. I went to bed, and when I woke up, it was already verified. It could take like 1 2 days. I don't think it's gonna be take 7 days. But yeah, it's cool. I did use it for a bit, and I did talk to people, but then I'd stress about when I receive the message, how long I'm taking to reply, how to follow the conversation, what am I doing, do I speak in English because they're speaking in English, or do I reply in Japanese because I know they are Japanese? What is happening? And I'd freak out. And yeah, you don't have to use your real name, as long as it's not something that it's obviously fake, like I don't know, amazing gamer XXX69, right? Don't. But if you use like a proper name or an alias, that's okay. You can just go by John Smith. Who the fuck cares, right? It's a real like name. So the point is that at the end of the day, 表情伸ばす、印象 oh impression 概念概念概念 作品 work, be it like a book, a manga, a film, or something they worked on, as in a work. Right? 好奇心好奇心支える support, right? 選択 this could either be laundry or an election or option, right? Where you have to choose. Selection choice, thank you. 割と everyone only choice does apex. Yeah, there's a lot of apex. There is. No, there's a little bit of everything. It's just it depends on the time of day, right? Right now it's like 1 p.m. on a Monday. So, most people will be out there working, and those that are not working, they're either like taking streaming more seriously, or they're not taking streaming seriously at all. They're just kind of gaming. So that becomes Apex, I guess. No, but if you look, my recommendation is that you look up stuff 8 hours from now. So if you sleep now and then you wake up, you'll probably find much more interesting streams. Like I follow a guy that makes little dolls of little with wool and stuff. It's kind of cool. There's a bunch of Satsudan kind of streamers where they just kind of just talking. Actually, you say Apex, but like a week ago it was nothing but Elden Ring. Harikiri, enthusiastic, right? Kind of high spirits. But yeah, no, there's a bit of everything. You just have to look up, and sometimes there's just not gonna be much variety, and that's okay. It happens. I mean, you could look up YouTube instead. I mean, at that point, instead of a streamer, you could do like anime practice, or like go to YouTube, things that are less interactive, but that you still are listening to things, right? Ketsumatsu. Conclusion. Also, I should follow my own fucking advice way more. でたらめ Jack. Shimping. Brand new. Yeah, I haven't watched anime for like a year. Damn. I mean, you don't have to. Again, you can watch anything that as long as it's immersion, right? Like I have a YouTube Japanese account in which I used to watch random things I find there that are just either kind of radio shows, people just talking, and the news even. But ideally, preferably, it's something you like and you enjoy, so you're more engaged. News are hard; they're really hard, but their pitch accent is usually spot on. But yeah, the vocabulary is kind of hard. And however, even if it's kind of hard, they do have a lot of text in everywhere. So if you're a bit more used to reading, you're gonna be able to follow things a bit better, and you're gonna be able to, yeah. Um, like for example, I learned watching the news and nakunari this, which is to die, except they're probably deceased, right? Um, Manga might be nice. You've only read two manga. Yeah. I mean, if you're more interested in reading, manga is great. In my case, my focus is a bit more speaking oriented and listening oriented. Right now, at least. So I put that a bit to the side. Actually, on Twitter, there are like people that do manga and things like those, which is great. Those are great. You know, if you ever have a hard time finding manga in Japanese, which I don't think you do, like the link. It's usually like four panels, not four panels, 4 pages, with not many panels each, right? Kind of thing. They're kind of nice. Insho, insho, rensaku, consecutive in a row, right? Continuation, success. Yeah. 作品コム邪道あー作業うん支える結末供述表情facial expression or the look on someone's face, right? 印象impression 支えるsupport 結末end conclusion we're finished, yay, those are my flashcards. Okay. Okay, so usually, this is the point where I learn new kanji and stuff. But usually, this point in the stream comes like an hour earlier, because this has been basically a Satsudan stream, just chilling, just chatting, right? um, yeah, I guess I'm not sleeping early anyway. Well, I might as well continue. はい、続きましょうね。Um, I'm not sleeping anyway. Might as well continue wherever. I mean, I'll sleep, it's just not the best time, which is okay. Oh yes, I was the one. You mean Yomi-chan? Yomi-chan is amazing. Like this is amazing. I'm huge fan. It makes reading chat in Japanese chats and streams so much faster and better. Do be careful. It's too good that you may find yourself overusing it on words that you already know, but you're just having maybe a little bit of a hard time recalling. So do have some restraint when using it, because it can be. Also, in my case, I found like when installing things, they have a way to put it also Spanish dictionary, which is super helpful, and then also the name version, which I put. Adding cards to your Anki became so easy. Yo, let's fucking go. Nice. Glad to hear. You finished your tandem application? Nice. Hope that goes well to you. Actually, let me know how it goes. Come here in a couple of days, in a week or so, and let me know how it went. Because I'm pretty sure people there are like, they seem pretty nice and stuff. I'm just bad at communication. uh, to raise, to rear, bring up. And no, it usually takes like a day. And don't worry, it shouldn't take that long. You should be okay tomorrow. By this time, I'm assuming. Okay, bring up. Since the keyword has to do with raising children to be strong both in mind and body, it is easy to coordinate the primitive elements infant and meat. Oh, it sure is. So rather than bring up is raise, I guess. Whenever I think of bring up, I think of bringing up a topic in a conversation, right? Or Sodateru. 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 Uh, bring up. In raise children. Okay. So, shall we? Yeah. This is just the point in the stream where I just write a bunch. Honestly, speaking of like immersion and stuff, Netflix keeps recommending me more and more Japanese shows and dramas that I didn't know existed and that I didn't know they had. Because usually I just look up at their anime library, right? And then someone recommended me to Rush House once, and I've been kind of hooked. I'm not gonna lie. But they keep showing up, and it's very interesting. Um, Maybe that's sort of, I don't know. I feel like for learning, maybe more real people thing is maybe a bit better. But I know that some people have gotten amazing results studying through anime. As long as like you're engaged and you like it, it's great. But like I've been more I've been curious. I want to check out more of the library and see what they have once I finish, right? That so yeah, that's where I'm at. Bring up. Next up, remove. The monsters you talk to learn from light novels. I so okay. Maybe this is just me, but let me walk you through a bit of my research process of self-taught Japanese, right? Because I'm completely self-taught. Everything I've had to look up on the internet from YouTube videos and stuff. I didn't even know about a lot of communities um, that would teach or like help and stuff, right? So I start by myself. And at some point, specifically last year, I ran into pitch accent, and for me it was like this big reveal thing. It's a big bitch when you don't know pitch accent, and you learn a bunch of things, and then you realize you have to relearn things. It's a so And then I started to think about what did I want to do with Japanese. Do I want to speak it? Do I want to read it? Do I want to hear it, or write it, kind of thing, right? So at some point, I decided to make it a bit more listening and speaking focused, and more like I want to go to Japan focused. Even though there's a lot of issues with like their work environment and things, it's whatever. I still want to go. So focusing on that and trying to have a bit more natural kind of speech and more affinity to listening. Because reading, if you're struggling with it, you can literally get up in the dictionary. You can take your time with it. And I don't feel like that's much of an issue. So while I do think it's great, and I know some people that learn through reading and like novels and manga, and they have great results. In my case, when I studied like all of Taikim's grammar, and I decided to then jump into what's the next thing, and I decided to pick up a visual novel. What I realized is just like I was mispronouncing things because I remember someone corrected me on devoicing because I said kishiki instead of kishiki, right? Kishiki. See, I said something like kishiki, even though the word is kishiki, right? Because it's not only devoiced, but it's a tamadaka for like, what was it? View, right? The front area. And I started to get a bit more self-conscious of like, if I learn this way, I'm not actually going to learn how to properly say it or listen it. And I'll be able to read it great, but what good does that do to me, right? Kind of thing. I started panicking a little bit, not gonna lie. So yeah, that's why I decided to focus more into like the listening aspect, trying to watch through immersion, kind of thing. And well, when I'm stream today, not so much because I've been just talking about like learning experience and stuff, but also try to speak a bit on Japanese, using Japanese on stream, right? So that's where like my learning is a bit focused because I became a bit more paranoid of okay, I can see it, read it, but the way it sounds is probably very quite different, right? um, Getting that misconception in my head and then having to go back and fix it, it's something that scared me. And the more I learned a bit more pitch accent, I did realize I had to fix things completely. And sometimes it's a surprise. I'm like, wait, I thought this was this word. What? No, it's different. Right? So yeah, but that's just me. Maybe it's because I watched some videos from Dogen and Mad vs Japan that they talk about a lot, pitch accent like intonation, because those are their products. One is selling course, the other selling as patron, so they're gonna sell you on that. So maybe I did get paranoid, but given my final objective, I do think that no, no, that listening and speaking aspect is ended up being more important to me. Like jumping into reading can, cause those kind of, things that I experienced that it's just like complete misconceptions, complete misspeaking, or like in your head, you think it one way, but then it's different for your ears and your tongue and saying it, right? I don't know. Again, that may just be me being paranoid. I know people have gotten good results, and there are many ways of studying, so do take it with a grain of salt. But yeah, like I had someone in chat tell me that they just kind of wanted to read a lot of Japanese, and that's why they learned. So in that case, like, oh, yeah, I guess you don't care much about pictures. Uh, right. So like, if you just want to read manga and stuff. あ、こんにちは。こんにちは。はい、こんにちは。こんばんは。ここね。アメリカで、こんばんはです。どうもこんにちは。いらっしゃい、初見さん。What is this? Remove, withdraw, withdrawal, evacuation, withdrawal, removal, withdrawal. Like I think instead of remove, I should learn this as withdrawal actually. 今はね、漢字を勉強しています。今まで、英語ばかりでしたけど、なんか、いろいろ、なんか、日本語の勉強方を話していましたね。なんか、大事のは、なんか、つもりは何ですかってことね。例えば、私は、配信でいっぱい話したいから、なんか、話すことと聞くことは、ちゃんと勉強しないといけません。でも他の人はなんかもっと漫画やラノベや読みたいからそんそそれならなんかいっぱい勉強しないなんか漢字をいっぱい勉強しないといけませんね。そういうこと。日本語が好きなんですか？はい、大好きです。漢字も大好きです。ね、なんかすごく面白いと思います。好き。なんか好きじゃなければこんなに勉強できませんね。Do you find yourself not knowing a bunch of grammar? Or do you pretty much get? I've gotten in textbook form. I understand everything in terms of grammar. Sometimes things are, but I found myself trying to read a chat or a comment where I know the grammar, I know the words because I have the extension that just tell me what the words are if I don't know them. But I cannot quite fully grasp the meaning of what they're trying to say. Sometimes that happens to me, and I'm not sure if it's because I'm lacking experience or grammar or what it is. 聞いてもいいですか？日本人ですか？日本語を勉強してますか？ That happens to with you a lot. To you a lot with manga. Yeah, maybe that's because I don't listen to read manga enough, or maybe it's because I'm not being studying without subtitles enough, right? なんか、でも、なんか、日本語が好きなんですけど、すごく難しいと思います。大変ですよね。まあ、でも、頑張ります。Okay, so, withdraw or remove. Well, fun and games until you mess up with uh, 月 and 月。他の言語ならやる気がないですね。そうですよね。私の場合にもね、そういうことあります。うん、はい。それ。はい、なんだっけ ?remove。なんか今ね、この漢字の覚え方を考えています。I'm not sure. Because when I say this is more as remove, I keep saying as more as withdrawal, right? Kind of things. Evacuation, withdrawal, probably. Right. So I think that's probably a better way. So it's fingers or hand bringing up on taskmaster. まあ、とりあえず書きます。Well, also, speaking of, other than the main goal of Japanese, right? Um, ooh, wait, hold up, Brandon. What you need, is this, right now. So, こんにちは、中の人いらっしゃい。お元気ですか？ いらっしゃいいらっしゃい。And I'll let you know when it's on the. Okay, cool. Thanks for hanging out. Thanks for talking. I appreciate it. Have a good one. またね。見に来てくれてありがとうございます。中の人。はい。いい名前ですよね。But so here, I don't remember exactly what playlist it was. I'm pretty sure it's this. He talks about like the exact pronunciation of every single syllable and stuff. It's somewhere in his channel, right? So there's actually no difference. Uh, the little tsu, right, with the things, can be read as zu, right, or tsu, as in either it can be read as either tsu with the little things or a tsu, depending on the context around the thing, right, on the word. 今日は仕事が休みになったので漫画と小説小説の影をしました。影干ししてます。なるほどね。いいな。穏やかだなね。穏やかというか、よく落ち着いてますね。まあそんな気がしますね。Oh, actually, the application, if you just Yomi-chan, it will tell you. It's kind of like drying in the shade, I guess. Which I'm not exactly sure how to describe it, but like my initial understanding is like it's either a title or it's just like they're reading on the. Oh yeah, understandable. My bad. Oh, they're just reading it on the shadow, just chilling, right? 私も影星わかりません。どんな漫画好きですか？影星とは漫画など日陰に出して虫や湿気虫や湿気から守る声です。なるほどね。湿気から守る。なるほどね。なるほどね。はい。わかりました。ありがとう。教えてくれて。私は、なんか、漫画、あんまり読みませんね。ほとんど、なんか、アニメやネットフリックスや見たりしますね。でも、読み時にね、最近、なんか、ラノベの方読めます。でも、最近あんまり。かぐや様は、はい。かぐや様のアニメ好きです。なんか、最新のシーズン楽しみです。どんなアニメが好きですか？全部です。というか、なんか、特に少年とラブコメが好きです。でも、メカや、青年もそれも時々見たりします。海外人は日本の漫画が、なんだっけ、右開きなのが読みにくいと聞きますが、本当ですか？あんまり。でも私の最終の漫画、は5歳の頃でしたっけ？だから、すごく慣れてました。 ね。5歳でしたっけ？夏、夏休みでしたっけ？なんだっけのおばあさんからプレゼントくれました。はい、5歳ぐらいなんだっけ？はい。ワンピースとドラゴンボールの最、最初の漫画、なんか第一のね。ああ、いい思い出した。いいこと思い出した。はい。だから私はあんまり読みにくいとか思いません。でも最近にね、スマホで、まあ最近というか、なんか、高校生の頃でしたっけ？ちょっとだけ、なんか漫画を読んだ、読んだりしました。それは、スマホで。だから、なんか、ただ、これをしました。あんまり、ね。でも、まだ、版ちょっと違いますよね。まあ、いっか。でも、はい、慣れています。日本語を覚えるのは、漫画がいいと聞きますね。と聞き、と聞きますね。はい。まあ、私はね、なんか、さっき説明しましたけど、なんか私の勉強方というか、勉強法なんか私ね、なんかいっぱい聞きたいといっぱい話したいから、そういう勉強を集中したいです。集中したいですね。だからあんまり読みませんけど、まあね、なんか読まないといけませんから、それも勉強してます。まあ、なんか漢字も好きです。まあ全部勉強してますけど、なんか漫画やラノベやあんまり読みませんね、まだ。なんかただツイッターで、なんか読みます。なんかあんまりね、面白い。なんていうか、はい。なんか例えば VTuber のアカウントをフォローしたり、ね。だからそういうことをまあなんていうか読み見てましょうね。読みみたいってこと。漫画がいいと言われる理由はイラストが日本語をわかんない。ありがとう。ああ関して状況をあ映像で覚えることができるからと聞いたことがあります。あ、そうですか。まあ私ね、なんかオノマトペとか苦手なんですというか、ね。まあでもそれはあんまり漫画読めませんからね。でも、オノマトペ多すぎですよね。VTuber を見るのはマジでいい勉強ですよね。と、なんか、日本語を勉強してます。VTuber のファンが多い。それもあります。だから、なんかいっぱい、なんていうか、クリップなんだっけなんだっけ切りことね。ちょっとだけ5分ぐらいで、なんかこれを面白いことありましてってこと。ああ、切り抜き。はい、ありがとう。それ。ね。なんか、字幕で、よくありますから、それも勉強できます。ね。だ から、VTuber がいいと思いますね。勉強的にね。まあ、もう、それと、なんか、好きです。それもあります。あ会話なら、勉強はいいと思う。ね。なんか、コラボとかね。それも。まあ、雑談配信も多いね。ですから、それも助かります。中野人さんは日本人ですか？だと思います。なんか、はい。If I remember correctly, I'm pretty sure he is. Well, I say he or she, I don't know. I don't care. Um, they, I guess. 来ていいなら、いいです。はい。絶対、アニメで来たことあります。多分。ちなみに私が好きなアニメは、オーバーロードです。見たいです。見たい。なんか、友達はね、おすすめしました。なんかそういう、まあ、異世界などよく見ますからね。あの、しかまだ見てないでもよかったと聞きましたね。な move オーバーロード面白いってよく聞きますね。そうですか。それなら、なんか今、めっちゃ見たいです。めっちゃ見たいです。さっきより見たいです。何してる私。なんか新しいページ必要です。はい、でも、まあ、さっき言いましたですよね。なんか、全部のアニメを好きです。世界コルテットだったら、オーバーロードを見た。そうですか。まあ、どっちも見たことないです。はい、よいしょ。I should really get a folder for these. ちょっと。まあ、いっか。YouTube にも海外人の方がオーバーロードを考察している動画があるのでおすすめです。なるほどね。ありがとう。まあでもなんかね、見たいアニメが多すぎます。なんか、いいことが多すぎます。ゼルダの伝説いいですよな。そうですよね。なんか BGM すごく好きです。リーセロは見ましたか？はい、素晴らしい、好きです。なんかエミリアは可愛い。エミリアタンね。なんかすごく面白い。なんかそういう、なんか過去を戻ることすごく好きです。スタインズゲートも、素晴らしかった。好きです。大好き。そういう話、すごく面白いと思います。あはい。セルダの BGM ね、すごくいいですよね。今は、Cadence of Hyrule というゲームの BGM をプレイしています。ちなみに私は きついたは、書き方は、いったは、なんで、来た読み方は、言った。言った。ステンスゲートいいですよね。そう、3回見ました。いいね。なんか私はね、去年、見ました。なんていうか、1回目はい。だから、まだ一度だけ見ましたこと。でも、もう一度見たいです。でも、まだ早いと思いますね。They pronounce it Yutta, or no, what they're saying is probably Yutta. Um, with you. Um, like this, right? I think I'm pretty sure there was like a chapter like that in Thai Kim's later on. Um, from to you, um, I believe it just becomes to you. あラコメならトラドラ好きです。好きでしたね。はい。さっきね、なんか好きなアニメというか気に入るのアニメは何ですかね。聞き、聞かれました。なんだっけ。こういうこと好きですと見せたね。みんなと。なんだっけ。トラドラ好き、素敵でした。なんだっけ。懐かしい。あとは、甘神がおすすめです。甘神。はい、なんだ、知ってないです。なんだそれ甘神。甘神。これこれですか。ま後で、多分、時間があれば見たいです。なんかね、これは見たいのアニメね。今は94個です。見ましたは300以上。ね、でも、これは好きなアニメ。でも、全部が好きね。これはちょっとエモいでしたからね、なんか泣いたから、そこになんか favorite というにしました。ね、全部はドラマや。You watch way more than you. Oh, if you links are disabled, by the way. So I'm just seeing three asterisks. You can put it on either my Discord or you can send me a DM. We can compare. 多いですよね。はい。なんか、3年というか、7年間で見ましたね。なんか、友達と、いっぱい見ます。なんか、はい、こういう一緒に見ましょうね。なんか、ディスコードで。そういうことよくありますから、どんどんいっぱい見ましたね。なんとなくそれとも、なんか、あのー子供の頃からも、弟とね、それも、なんか、子供の頃、名探偵コナンとドラゴンボールとドラえもんいっぱい見ました。あとで、弟と稲妻イレブンやトリコや、黒子のバスケや、それもいっぱい見ましたね。まあ、それだけじゃない、いっぱい見ました。アニメ見たことはないですが、あの、上場戦記は漫画好きです。ああ、それ。コロナの始めるでアニメ始めまた見た。確かにね。なるほどね。これね。はい。なんか、すごくいいと言われたね。言われました。いいですよね。 はい。私はね、コロナで、VTuber を見ることを始まりました。なんか、ホロライブって何ですかね。調べたいです。ね、おじさんのりです。そうらしいね。うん、なんか、あんまり見せないんですけど、私の見ましたアニメは全部そこで。ね。なんか、you do AMQ? Hi. Yeah. I have a group of friends which we do AMQ. Um, so that's why I put that cheeky message kind of there. But all of the anime I've watched over the years is there. Hmm. I used to do that too in the mall Discord. Oh, there's the list. Oh shit, I'm gonna expose you. Hold up. Let's take that off stream. Oh, 194. That's still quite a bit, but that's still quite a bit. Yeah, good stuff. 化け物語みたいです。12秒でも声がしたいもみたいです。コードギアスもみたいです。Oh, you watch Decadence? Yeah, let's go. A lot of people I know watch that. ジブリの映画ね。確かにね。さすが。かぐや様、はい。小林さん、楽しかったです。このスーバーそれも楽しかったです。Oh, Made in Abyss. I should really watch Made in Abyss. I should really, really watch Made in Abyss. なんか、Made in Abyss まだ見たことないです。でも、本当に見たいです。コードギアスとても面白かったです。私は一番好きかもしれません。ね、ちなみにね、なんか、日本に、なんか、コードギアスは、すごく人気と、聞きました。ね。なんか、一番人気かもしれません。なんか、すごく人気。なんか、なんか、海外人ね、あんまり理解できません。なんか、あんまりわかりません。なんで、なんか、面白いと分かっていますけど、そんなに、ね、可愛かった。可愛かった可愛い。私は、エーペックスの人気は分かりません。なんか、私はね、同じことを考えていましたけど、なんかそういう、この VTuber はいっぱい Apex をやっていますよね。と、なんか友達と話していました。なんか私もしましょう。そうですか。まあ、やってみましょうね。そうしましょう。後で、ハマってしまいました。なんか2022年300時間でかな、やっていました。なんかすごくやっていました。It's so addicting. Like we got on a roll. We were like, okay, let's kind of do like this B2ers. Like we got hooked. We just couldn't stop. So メイドインアビスは面白いですよね。はい、だから見たいです。見たい。アペックス一人でやったら飽きてしまいましたが、友達をやってみたら面白かったです。確かにね、私は二人の友達とやっていましたから、 なんかすごく楽しかった。なんか、こっちは敵があります。いやー、こっちもってこと、いっぱい楽しかった。なんか、でもまだ、なんか、今ね、私のポンコツパソコンでアペックスなんかできません。まあ、それと、なんか日本語の勉強なんか大学の勉強で忙しくなりまして、できません、あんまり。例えば、英語圏で、リーグオフレジェンスね、もう人気だけど、日本のエピックスレベルじゃないですよね。そう。まあ、リーグオフレジェンスはね、ちょっと、なんというか、まあ、私はね、そのゲームでダイヤモンドに達成しましたね。なんか、高校生の頃。だから、なんか、面白いと分かっていますけど、すごく、飽きられます。ツイッターで人気のイラストレーターを見るのはとても好きです。なんか実はね、私はツイッターはそのつもりで使います。それだけ。いっぱい好きなイラストレーターをフォローしています。なんかすごく素敵なイラストがあります。素敵な絵。どんな綺麗描けますか？なんか、すごい。誰のイラストレーター好きですか？私は、しぐれおい先生はすごく可愛いな絵描けます。すごい。なんか、鳥の赤も好き。なんか私は好きなイラストレーターは多すぎますから、なんか今なんかイラストレーターだけは1000ぐらいフォローしてますから、その一戦で、なんと、100人ぐらいね、すごく好きかなね。だから、好きなイラストレーターは違います。あ頑張れ、ドキちゃん。です。すごい。書いてる山先生好きです。素晴らしいね。ですよね、素敵。わかる。私もフォローしてます。好きです。なんか、ツイッターでなんか配信でツイッターを開けることはちょっと危ない。ね、時々そういうイラストレーターね、エッチなことをリツイートしますから、やばい。あんまり僕好みじゃないんですけど、そういうことがありますから、開きません。134万フォロワー、やばい。はい。トキちゃんのポンコツぶりが好きです。ですよね。かわいい。なんか私はね、なんか、何言いたかったです。忘れました。とりあえず、漢字を書きます。ね、世界線、これはなんかスタインスゲートから覚えました。キレは難しすぎる。あーでもなんかね、なんか VTuber のパパやママは、なんか全部フォローしてますから、なんかすごく可愛い、なんか娘をかけましたね。すごい。El, el Psrai Congro. コングルですよね。 トゥットゥルー。セイロも見ましたね。スタインスゲートセイロ。あー、なんか、今日は弟と、なんか、あー、港アクアと、宝生マリンのママ好きですよね。港アクアのパパ、すごい、すごいと思います。あと、コスプレイヤーのノンさんツイッターアカウント、モンハンマイロ、この人が好きです。私はね、あんまりコスプレイヤーがフォローしてませんけど、時々ね、タイムラインので、なんていうか、見えますから、なんか、すごい、それもすごいと思います。すごい、なんと才能、ね、なんか、ツイッターはすごくいいところと思います。なんか、海外人ね、にとって、ツイッターは、なんか、意見を話すときにね、でも私はツイッターはこういう素晴らしい絵を見ますところね。この人は本当に美しいエロいやばい。エロいなら、ここで見ませんね。配信で危ないからね。おすすめありがとうございます。英語圏でツイッターはちょっとちょっとね、なんかですよね。だから、はい、私もあんまり。でも時々にね、なんか英語を話します。アーティスト、イラストレーターもあります。なんかすごく。あんまり日本語やできませんけど、英語でなんか素敵な絵を描けます。それも。例えば、なんか VTuber も、なんか VTuber で書きますこともあります。Yeah, like there are VTubers that like then draw and they're like amazing. And then I'm pretty sure they did themselves. Um, あ例えば、なんだっけ、スクI think it was like that. Scoo-chan, I think it is. Uh, good stuff. なんか、私はね、モデルは高い。高い。すごく高いです。まあでも私はいらないね。この顔で。いや冗談です。でもね、なんか私は恥ずかしいなんてありませんから、いいよ。別に。うんなんか私はね、私の料亭でいっぱいことを伝えられますと気がします。だから、こういう風で配信、風というか方法かな。こんなことね、好きです。こういうカメラ、私の顔、体で。うんうんうんなんかいっぱい楽しいことできます。ね、やれます。と思います。なんか、ダブみたいね。まあいいか。まあでも、一話は素敵だと思いますけど、なんか、ただ、憧れというか、ただ見たいです。でも私は、になりたくないです。うんそういうこと。でも、なんかゲームの の世界でなら、そこにね、なんか可愛いモデルが好きです。ね、なんか全然違います。最近 VTuber に興味が下げるから、なんかおすすめ他のコンテンツありますか？ないと思います。なんか私にとってね、なんか VTuber はただ他の、下がる。配信者ですからね。ですからね。下げるストランスでビア。Yeah, when I bring it, I don't really think about those. はい、だからあんまり進めがないです。なんか、いなんか、いっぱいコンテンツ人が、なんか、を作ってる人が多いから、多分、新しい、なんか、ルダムさん好みが、ハスありますね。あるはずです。だから、ただ、調べてみれば、見つけますと思います。なんか私はね、いいっぱい言えましたけど、なんか最近ね、テラスハウスをハマっています。うん、だから最近ね、いっぱい見ていました。にゃるほど、にゃるほど。うん、何をあテラスハウス。なんかさっきのネットフリックス、何見ました？聞き取れなかった。すみません。なんか多分滑舌良くなかったですよね。ただテラスハウス、ね、ネットフリックスで見てます。見られます。見れます。あはい、それそれそれ。最近ハマってます。なんか、だから、なんか配信者よりを見ていますね、最近。なんか、食べるながら見てますね。というか、なんか、見ながら食べますってことをね、よくあります、最近。あだからあんまり配信者が勧めがないです。すみません。おすすめは僕の配信です。ぜひ見てください。いっぱいもっと。うん、あyeah, I'm just fucking around and taking it seriously. なんか私の配信そんなになんか面白くないと思います。なんか、ただね、なんか勉強していますだけです。ただなんか漢字を書いてて、なんか新しい言葉を覚えてて、なんかそういうことだけ。でも映画より配信でもっと勉強になってる。ね。ですよね。私はこの配信好きですよ。ありがとう、ありがとうございます。なんか、リスナーさんがあれば、なんかいっぱい話せますね。なんかリスナーさんと。 だから、その時ね、ちょっとだけ面白さは上がります。ね。なんか、あ生配信もっとエフェクティブみたい。まあね、なんか、それと、なんか配信者と、なんか他のリスナーさんと日本語で話せますから、いっぱいね、勉強できますよね。でも私はね、人と話すこと苦手ですから、ただ、なんか、あんまり理解できませんけど、配信で全然いいです。なんか、問題ないです。でも、なんか、配信を終わるときにね、人と話せなくなります。わかりません。でも、それあります。だからね、なんか、ディスコードやアプリでなんか言語交換とかやりたかったけど、結局やめました。ね。だから配信で練習します。でもそれだけです。なんかでもさっきね、なんかそういう話あありましたね。なんか日本人の友達を作れればいいなねと。なんか私だけじゃないね。他の日本語を勉強してます人もそう思いますけど、でもね、なんか文化やなんか言語やすごく違いますから、ちょっと難しいですよね。なんか私はね、なんか日本人の友達がありましたけど、なんかいろいろありましたね。ちょっと大変でした。誤解ありましたね。多いじゃないかもしれませんけど、多くないかもしれませんけど、ね、そういうことありました。はい。まあでも、なんか、他の人と話さけ、話さなければダメですよね。だから、なんとなく、もっとディスコードサーバーや参加しようとしますね。頑張ります。でもとりあえずはこの配信で話せます。でもね、なんか配信と会話が全然違うですよね。違います。なんか配信でなんか止めます。なんかこれことあんまり知りませんから調べます。いや、ちょっと言い方変わりましょうね。だからそういうことできますけど、なんか会話中でそういうことあんまりね、なんか相手はちょっとなんだっけ、気まずくなりますかもしれませんね。ちょっと怖いと思います。多分ね、ただ考えすぎましたけど、考えすぎていますけど、ね、はい、はい、なんか漢字の勉強終わりました。次、あの、 このメモから新しい言葉を覚えましても漢字なし。ね、なんかさっき説明しましたけど、漢字だけで新しい言葉を覚えましたら、すごく遅くない？なんか人と会話できませんね。それだけやりましたらね。だからこういう勉強、大事と思います。もう大事と思います。はい。はい、今日の覚えたいことは、あさってとおととい。まず、あさって。So the day after tomorrow. と、おとといでしたっけ？おととい。おととい。なるほどね。Day before yesterday. はいはいはい。次は何ですか？なんか、ちょっと、辞書と辞典は同じですか？なんか、私の知ってますことは、辞典じゃなくて、辞典。はい。ね。でも、なんか、辞書もありますと言われましたから、なんかよくわからない。なんか何が違いますか？ Yeah, so these are both words for dictionary, but I really don't know. Why is there two words for dictionary? Anyway, はい。鍋。衣装。衣装。衣装。はい、clothing, costume, outfit. あ、衣装は、主に、言葉を調べるものですね。実は物事全般を調べるものというイメージがあります。なるほどね。ありがとう。So it's more like an encyclopedia kind of thing. それなら私の使い言葉は辞書ですよね。なんか、ずっと辞書使ってますからね。 なんか私はなんか言葉をば言葉ばかりを調べていますからね。なんか、ね、ありがとう。説明してくれて。はい。と、ないや、ちょっと BGM 変わりました。あ、台本。あ、前、台本ね。台本は一切ございません。うー見すぎちゃったかもしれませんね。はい。終わりました。なんか、今日の勉強、ここまでと思います。なんか、ちょっと気づきませんでしたけど、今はね、5002時です。まあ、もうそろそろね。か、それと、なんか、3時、なんか、6時間後で、講義があります。So it's 2 a.m. and I have class in 6 hours. だから、ちゃんと寝ないといけませんね。はい。だから、今日の配信を終わりたいと思います。Okay, so yeah, I'm gonna end the stream. Probably time to sleep. はい。はい、ということで、皆さん、見に来てくれてありがとうございます。本当ね、なんか楽しかったね。今日は特に面白かったです。なんかいっぱい話しててね。面白かった。ありがとうございます、皆さん。なんかフォローやもなどもね、ありがとうございます。教えてくれてもありがとうございます。はい。ということで、well, okay, I'm gonna end the stream. Today was pretty fun, more than usual. A lot of good talks about anime, learning things. It was super fun. Usually it's a bit more quiet and relaxed, so having one of these streams once in a while feels pretty good. I like it. But it's also 2 a.m. and I kind of need to go to sleep. So yeah, thanks for watching, thanks for hanging out. I appreciate it. Have a good night. はい、お疲れ様でした。おやすみなさい。おやすみなさいの方、おやすみなさい。まだいっぱい日が残りますの方、頑張って。まあ、またかもね。